everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from the old world. Yes, we are back, and we are here with the all-new Aspiring Champion on foot with the Battle Standard. It came to me early because Games Workshop were very kind and sent me a copy of the all-new, the old world core set to build up and paint with all of you, and I'm very excited because I think this model is absolutely spectacular, and we're going to jump in and we're going to start painting it now, I guess. Well, so he's been primed in grey Seer, and the colour we're going to be using first, and there's going to be a lot of metallics later on, but the colour we're going to be using first is Garaghak Seer, and we're going to be applying this over top of, well, all of the fur. And there is a lot of fur here, but we do just want to be a little bit careful of all the skulls. It just sort of makes our lives a little bit easier if we just avoid them for now. Of course, if you do get some Garaghak Seer on there, that's okay. You just use some grey Seer to tidy them back up. For now, we're just going to get this over top of all of the fur, excluding the little bits of fur that are attached to this skull here on the shoulder. So we do have some fur in here and in here as well, that we're also going to be applying this Garaghak Seer over the top of. Whilst we wait for all of that Garaghak Seer to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Reikland Fleshshade, and we're going to apply this over top of all of the, well, all of the skin of the cloak and the various bits of cloth. So this is going to be this bit just here, like that. It's going to be the inside of the cloak as well. We're also going to apply this over top of the sort of turn back bits here, like that. And there's also a little bit of skin draped across this skull on the shoulder. I say it's draped across, it's more like there's a little bit of skin left on this skull. With that Reikland Fleshshade now applied, the Garaghak Seer is dry, so what we're going to do is we're going to take some black Templar, and we're going to apply this over top of, well, some of the fur. So we're going to apply some just in here towards the bottom of this little section, like that sort of thing. And bring it all the way around down there, just like that. We're going to apply some on the other side as well, over here. There we go. And on the back here, what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of apply this towards the base of the cloak. Kind of inconsistently. Like so. We do actually have one other little bit that we're going to apply the black Templar over the top, and that's, there is a skull with some hair still attached on the banner. We're going to apply this over top of that hair. Just here. And with that black Templar all applied, we then take some Druchii Violet, and we're going to apply this over the top of our Reikland Fleshshade. So with that all done, it's going to seem a little bit early, but what we're going to do now is we're going to dry brush all of our fur with some Karak Stone. With that Karak Stone dry brush all applied, we can now move on to some more colours. And the next one that we're going to use is some Skeleton Horde. We're going to apply this over top of all the bones and the horns on the helmet. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Black Legion. And we're going to apply this over just a couple of details. So we have these sort of hanging bits of leather here. And we can also see the little strap in his elbow that's holding the axe. With that Black Legion applied, we also applied it over top of the gloves. But what we're also going to do now, well, the next thing we're going to do, is we're going to take some Wyldwood and we're going to apply this over top of the bits of wood. So this is going to be this part of the axe handle and the banner pole as well. With that all done, we then want to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Wyldwood. And we use this to do a little bit of blending on these horns. So we're just going to bring it down like so. Wash the brush. Get rid of the water. And then we're just going to feather away at that transition to make it blend into our bone colour there, like so. And we just do the same thing on the other side. So with that all done, whilst we do have lots of red on this, we're actually only going to do one part of the red for now, or just in this moment, because it's the easier part of the two. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Flesh Tearers red, and we're going to apply this over top of the grips of the weapon, well, both the weapons, because there's a sword at his hip as well, and we're going to apply this over the top of his helmet plume. And with all that Flesh Tearers red applied, we are then going to take some Baal Red, and we're going to apply this over the top of the banner. And with all of that Baal Red applied and dry, we're now going to take some Agrax Earthshade. We're going to apply this over the top of the Baal Red, and we're also going to apply this over the top of the Flesh Tearers red as well. And with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 2 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Cygor Brown mix. And we're going to apply this over top of the sort of bottom of the banner. We're going to blend this in to the red. So we're just going to get this over top of this bottom half. Like so. Up to around about there. Then we're going to wash the brush. Touch off the water. Then we're just going to come in here, apply pretty decent pressure because we've got a bit of a drying mark there. So what we can do here when that happens, we just load up our brush with a little bit more Cygor Brown, and we can just come in here and take it a little bit further like that. Wash the brush, touch off said water, and blend it. There we go. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? So with that all done, we are now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors, and we are going to apply this over the top of, well, most of the model. We're not going to be applying this over the top of any trim, although it doesn't really matter if we do get this over the top of that. But we are going to be applying this over the top of all of the armor, all of the chainmail, and over the weapon. As but a few examples. With all that silver applied, aside from the fur up here, we're now going to take some Retributor Armour. I'm going to apply this over top of all of our remaining details. So with that all done, it's time to add some shades, and the first of these is going to be some Gore-Grunta Fur. And we're going to apply this over the top of the chainmail. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. And we're going to apply this over top of this fur that we've neglected all this time, up here. We're going to apply this over top of all the silver, and we're going to apply this over top of all of the gold. But don't worry, I'm going to add a little bit of warmth back into the gold after we've done this. So with all that Nuln Oil applied, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. I'm going to use this to add a little bit of warmth to our shading. So we're going to add this over the top of this tummy here, like so. We're going to use this over the top of these two bits of chest trim as well. So we've got this bit here and this bit here. Like so. We're also going to add this over the top of the headgear. Like that. And the other thing we're going to do, some of you may have noticed it, is that these heads, this one and this one in particular, have actually still got some of their skin on. So we're going to apply this over the top of the skin parts. Like that. And just to add a little bit of extra variation to our heads up here, we're going to take some Druchii Violet and we're going to apply this over top of this individual's skin bits. And we'll apply some over here as well. So with that all done, this aspiring champion is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. He's looking pretty good. However, we're not going to leave him there. No, we're going to take him to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now, the first of these is going to be a layer. And it's going to be some thinned down Leadbelcher. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this to now really brighten up the flat armor panels by just avoiding where the recess, where the shade is settled. Just like that. Now we're not going to be doing this over the top of those two nice dark trim bits, or indeed the flat of the axe, where we also applied some Reikland Fleshshade. We are just going to do this over the top of that chest plate there, like that. The helmet. The arms, the legs. And so on. And if that Leadbelcher is a little too bright for your taste, what you can do is we can take a really thinned down sort of 3 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Reikland Fleshshade mix. And then just drop this over the top. It's like a really thin little final shade for it, to just add that little layer of dust and dirt over the top of them. So with that all done, we are now going to, because we've already started it, highlight all of the silver. And we're going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker to do exactly that. So with all of that Ironbreaker applied, the silver's looking pretty tasty now. So what we're going to do to make him feel a lot more finished, we're going to take some thinned down Liberator Gold. We'll use this to highlight all of the gold details. So with our gold all highlighted, he is now a nice shiny boy. So what we're going to do is move on, and we're going to start highlighting the rest of those details. And we're going to kick things off here with some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight the black. So with that all done, our next port of call is to take some Word Bearer's Red. And what we're going to do is we're going to thin this down, roughly sort of 4 or 5 parts water to make it nice and runny. And we use this as a glaze over the top of our red on the banner. This is just to sort of smooth out any issues we might have, but also just to add just that sort of little bit of extra brown in there. So with that word bearer's red all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet, and just towards this reddest part of the banner, we're going to use this to highlight. So with all that Evil Sunz Scarlet applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Screaming Skull, and we're going to use this to effectively relayer the bone areas on all of our skulls. Now it's going to look more like a highlight in certain areas, but when it comes to like the sort of wide open areas of the skulls, we do want to do a full relay because we want these to be quite bright, just to add a little bit of a counterbalance to all of the dark colours that we've got going on. With that Screaming Skull all applied, we're then going to take a little bit of some thinned down Corax White, and we're going to use this to highlight that white fur. And so with that all done, we are then going to take some thinned down Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight our skin of the cloak, like this. And we're also going to use this to add some spot highlights to the little bits of skin that are sort of still clinging on up here as well on the skulls. And so with that all done, we are now going to finish it off by taking some thinned down Karak Stone. I'm going to use this to highlight the bits of wood. There we have it. First of the new chaos stuff for the old world is now finished. I think this is an absolutely breathtaking miniature, honestly. I've said this before, but it took everything in me not to put this on a round base and stick it into my Slaves to Darkness army for Age of Sigmar. I just think it's an absolutely fabulous miniature, and I can't wait to jump in to the rest of the old world core set chaos stuff.
If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.